Kathryn Severns Avery, America's #1 Retirement Readiness Expert. And again, we are joined by Kelly Zerphy.
Thank you.
We're so happy you're here to be talking about self-care.
Thank you.
This is such an important topic, and we've talked a little bit about self-care spiritually and self-care in the physical sense, but now we're going to talk about it socially. So what is social self-care?
Oh, that's a good question. It encompasses a lot of different definitions. I think social self-care is making sure that you are, as I said earlier, connected. So this time of the year is kind of easy to be connected if you want to be. There are holiday parties, there are get-togethers at your families, but I think the greater need for people is to be connected socially within the world. And when I say the world, I mean that means in your circle of influence. So each person has, let's say, 10 people in their circle of life and their circle of influence, and then those 10 people have another 10 people, and so on and so on. And so being involved socially with people is essential really to all the other areas of self-care, because when we're not, we're isolated.
Right.
Yes.
And there was a very interesting study that came out recently that said social isolation can actually take as much as 8 years off your life.
I agree with that. I went through a similar isolation period where I just didn't reach out to anyone really. I just kind of went through my days and through my weeks, and those turns into months, and those turn into years. And it does take time away from you, physically, mentally,
right,
emotionally, yes.
And you have spoken about the fact that the need to get outside.
Yes.
That you can't connect with people if you're sitting on your couch.
It's so true.
And I think that that's something that, yes, as we talked about, there are social apps that you can use, but there's nothing quite as important as face-to-face interpersonal communication.
That's really true. I know I am always more enriched by like sitting and having a conversation with you today. We could have done this over the internet. We could have done it in a social platform, but being in the presence of people is really uplifting to your spirit, and really figuring out ways that you can add value to people's lives just really makes a difference.
Yes.
Really does.
I have one of the sayings that we have in our Motivational Mondays is the surest way to get rid of depression is to do something for someone else.
I have lived by that mantra for such a long time, because if you're helping others, you're not focused on yourself, right, and you're not focused on what your problems are or the issues in your life or whatever is surrounding you at the time. Yes, absolutely.
Wonderful. Great tips and advice this morning. Thank you so much for being here.